Good morning, afternoon, evening, gamers. So, Warframe. Now, I basically came back to this game 3, 4 days ago. I haven't. I was reading through the messages, and I haven't played it since 20. Was it 2016 or 2017? 20, the oldest I think the oldest message was 2017. So yeah. Um, and how I got into installing this game is a couple of years ago I think I saw that they had added in some large open world scenarios. That there were horses. I think something like that. I remember watching some trailers and going, "Oh yeah, that game," and then I have so many games that I forgot again and like wandered off. Um, I was watching because I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch, and I don't just watch video games. At the moment, I'm watching Bricky's um, introduction of all of the Warhammer 40k factions, which again, it's one of those things. I've heard of Warhammer. I kind of know what it is. I think I have one of the games. If you want me to play some of that, like let me know. Um, and you know, I've dabbled with it, but I wouldn't say I knew particularly anything about it. So I've been watching that. But I watch lots of things. I watch a lot of music videos because I like the idea of like music and visuals, at the same time. Um, but so I was watching a Josh Strife Hayes older video on where he tried Warframe, and I was like, oh yeah, Warframe, and so I've installed it and I've come back. Now I was gonna start a new character, and I was like, yeah, no, do I really want to do that? So I've just stuck with the same character, and I'm just trying to figure things out. Now, back in 2017, um, I, I, I do remember playing some of the game, and I remember being largely confused and not really knowing where I'm, going or what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's not that's not necessarily confined to just Warframe. There are a lot of games, particularly large MMO, RPG type games. The Elder Scrolls was the same. World of Warcraft was the same, which was the very first MMO RPG that I ever played. I built a computer because me and my son, kind of needed things to do. We were tight on money, and I somebody at work played it, and so I played it for a bit. Then they disappeared off to America. Like, good for them. Started a new life, and I carried on playing it. So I started when it was ooh, so I think the first expansion I ever bought was the one where the huge dragon, like under the earth, he finally breaks free of his shackles, and just like bursts out of the ground and just goes on like a rampage. I can't remember. Cataclysm. So that was the first expansion I bought, was Cataclysm, and so everything before then had already been out, and I quit when they introduced the expansion. Um, it had the garrisons, which was the housing system, which it was really crap. I didn't particularly like that expansion. I was just kind of looking around going, I think I'm done. I did buy the expansion that they did with Illidan, and you could play as one of his people. I did buy that because that fascinated me massively. Illidan is kind of like, as part of the lore and Legion. It was Legion. It was called Legion. That was really fun, but it didn't do enough to really keep me sticking around. And I kind of wanted to go off and play other things. And over the years, I've played, so many different types of games. I don't try to play only games that I think I will like, because, to be honest, I never know what type of game I'm going to enjoy or whether the story is going to be good. Some games, there isn't really a story, and if there is a story, it's just like something that's tacked on kind of after the fact. Those games do tend to irritate me. Me personally, I need a reason for being and doing something in this world. Like, there needs to be some purpose. There's a girl to get back to, or, we're saving the world. I often hear that one of the things that people don't like about games, particularly Skyrim, for instance, is that you're the Dragonborn. You're this most important person, in the world. And that's fair. I'm not saying that they're wrong. However, I also would counteract the argument to that of, what is wrong with that? Like honestly, what is wrong with wanting to be that? In the real world, we're just one person amongst 8 billion people. Nothing special, and that's okay. But in a video game, wanting to be, the Dragonborn, I found that to be immensely entertaining. You also find along the way that being, the Dragonborn, or being the most important person, comes with, quite a lot of headaches and quite a lot of problems. But I understand that some people just want to play a game where you're just, Joe Schmo. You just, you're an average person, and that's fine. But that's not always for everybody. But I do hear that argument a lot, and they're obviously talking from their perspective, what they don't like. But the thing you have to remember is, whenever a video game is made, it's not made just for me, and it's not made just for you. Let's say PvPers, they tend to think they're the most important people. Actually, when looked at as a demograph, they're actually very small. They're not actually that important. When New World was being made, they had an emphasis on it was going to be PvP all of the time. And they quickly realised that that demograph wasn't going to be big enough to sustain their game. And they quickly changed it to, that was an optional thing, and then you had lots of PvE content, which I actually wonder if that's why that game failed, because from the beginning, it always feels like it was designed one way and then quickly had to go another way. I do wonder. I tried playing it with Swift and with his cousin. His cousin really liked it. I tried to like it, but the aesthetics of the conquistadors doesn't. It's not a period of history that really interests me. Swift bought the game when it first came out. He was so hyped for it. He really wanted it to be good. He wanted an MMO that he could jump into from the beginning, kind of like I did with Elder Scrolls Online. I was a beta tester for that, and I've been with that game more or less from the beginning. Doesn't mean that I know everything about it. There's things I don't know about it, but I could help people through that. I could help people out. And he wanted that for New World, and it just didn't really work out. So all that being said, I'm going off on a tangent. That's something I do. Warframe. So I've reinstalled it, and I just kind of wanted to see what it was like, because from 2017 to 2024, fair few years, going through changes, and I think they are trying to have more of an emphasis on in getting new people into the game, because the thing is, if you don't have, if your game doesn't attract new players, you're gonna have a bad time. And it's all right for some of the veterans. Actually, the community, the Warframe community, is actually really good. They're very chill people. Only too willing to help out new people, because for the most part they understand that if you don't get new players, you've got nobody to play with, and eventually your game's gonna stagnate and die, and that's never good for anybody. I also found out from Josh Strife Hayes of video that the people who, the developers who make the game, dynamic something. Shut up, phone. Don't you start. Dynamic something. I've forgotten. I have a terrible memory. But apparently they worked on some of the early Unreal Tournament games, and I loved the Unreal Tournament games. I played them back in the day, and I had a massive amount of fun. Was I supposed to be taking it seriously? Probably. Did I? Not really. Did I just run around and have a good time? Yes. I do feel like that's something that's missing in those types of games. They're all now kind of trying to be some sort of esports player. Now, personally, like, if you want to be that, cool. I'm too old. I'm too tired. Like, it ain't happening. I'm not a good enough player. I enjoy playing video games, but I wouldn't say I'm good at them. Which is why, I pick my battles when it comes to video games. Some of them, I start them up and it's like, oh, okay, this is not for me. And that's alright. Elden Ring, not really for me. It's too hard. I'm just being real with you, I don't want to die over and over and over and over again and get really angry and stressed out, because that to me isn't entertainment. Yeah, that I'm just being real. But I love the fact that lots of people do enjoy it, and it does look amazing. I've got a copy of it because somebody tried to get me into it, and I was very resistant. I may still get back to it someday, but at this point in my life, gaming prowess is diminishing returns at this point. So yeah, I don't know, but I love that people like it. So you have to pick your battles. So what is, for anybody who doesn't know, and I always love more those types of people than the veterans, because veterans, they know all the games. They're like me. They're actively into the scene, and they kind of know what things are. Having said that, there is so many laws. There's Elder Scrolls, World of Warcraft, which is a very difficult lore to finish or get into, because some of it's in the game, some of it's in books, like physical books that you have to buy. Like it's kind of spread out, and you have to kind of piece it together. It can be very convoluted to work out what's going on. And I think the developers sometimes kind of backtrack a little bit on things. Sometimes the whole Lady Sylvanas Windrunner, yeah, there were some things in that I was like, eh, really? What? We're turning it into Dallas now. It was all a dream. Okay. Uh, so there are so many laws, and like I said, I'm watching the Warhammer lore, and it's very detailed. And Bricky's just going over like surface level stuff, and it's still pretty deep. There's all these legions, and there's these factions, and there's like within that faction there are like multiple factions, and it's like and there's politics, and like it's not really like made up politics, I guess. Like I'm kind of against real world politics being in games, because often or not you play games to get away from that. So yeah, for people that don't know anything about Warframe is, and I do think that this is an apt explanation. It's ninjas in space, and you may have heard that before, or you may not have. You may not know much about Warframe. I didn't. Still, kind of don't. Yeah, no, I don't really know anything. But yeah, ninjas in space. It's fun. It's actually pretty fun. However, there's a lot of systems. And back in the day, they didn't really, things weren't really explained a lot. Josh Strife Hayes, I think he had a quote of, there is no hand holding, and then there is Warframe. And I thought, kind of, but it has gotten better. And over the last sort of 3 or 4 days I've been playing, it's, I can tell that it's a lot better. Me, myself, I need to have a direction to go in. I need, I need to know what I'm doing, kind of. And I do remember just doing whatever. So let's have a little look. This is my ship. So this is your ship that you that everybody gets. You get like your starting ship. So this this is your navigation. This is what I'm on at the moment. So again, it's sort of giving me more like events and quests. Like good old quests. Where if you're into these type of games, you like a good quest. It's like quest. Get your mouth into it. I'm actually pretty hyped on this. I may be having a stroke. Syndicates, I don't really know what they are. Void Fishers, I don't know what they are. I didn't know what the rail thing was. So I decided, coming back, that I was going to join a guild. I've joined guilds in like other things like WoW, and turned out to be kind of toxic. I tried some in Elder Scrolls Online. Again, kind of hit and miss. It is a hit and miss thing with guilds. You join one and you never really know if you're going to gel with people. Having said that, I met Swift through a guild on Elder Scrolls Online. So, and we've been friends for years, and I've been to his house. He, obviously he lives in my country, and yeah, I've been to his house for last Christmas, the Christmas gone. I was at his house and celebrated my birthday with him, and we had a great time, and we're best buds. And I massively enjoy hanging out with him. So guilds can work, but they can be very hit or miss. So you know, we shall see how this goes. But I felt that if I was going to try and get into this game and try and really get into the juicy bits, you know, the story, because there are really good stories to be had in this game, and that's my jam. Exploring story, like, you know, memorable, like, characters, like interesting characters, you know, and loot goblin. I am a terrible loot goblin. I blame Bethesda for that, because, you know, from Skyrim, like in WoW, I wasn't really picking stuff up, although there isn't really as much to pick up in that. But from kind of Skyrim onwards and those types of games, I just turned into a loot goblin. So I blame Bethesda. It's your fault, amongst many other things. But so that, yeah, that's kind of my jam. So if I want to get to that, I kind of need to figure out, you know, what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I should be doing. There is a lot of stuff to learn. There's a lot of layers, and whilst they are doing better at, you know, oh, he follows my mouse. So that's kind of cool. I like that. I think a lot of games do kind of do that now. But yeah, if I want to really get into it and not quit like I did before, because I kind of quit because I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need some help with that, with veterans, and Nightingale of our guild, which is Asuna, which I already liked because SAO is one of my favourite. Is it anime? I guess it kind of is. It's animated anime, so I would say so. But I love SAO. I've actually got some SAO video games, which we're going to get to at some point. I want to show you those because I'm kind of proud of them. You, the guys who watch me, may not give a shit, but okay. You know, I'll make the videos anyway because I like video games. So it's Asuna Waifu. So yeah, I saw the name, I liked the name, I was like, that's kind of cool. So, you know, they're actually looking for members. So, you know, if you want to jump in and play with Nightingale, who's our leader, yeah, feel free to do so. And possibly me when I'm around. Cool. And if you don't, that's all right as well. So yeah, so Nightingale has been kind of helping me a little bit, trying to, you know, work some stuff out, because there's been lots of updates over the years, and they've kind of layered on each other and stacked on top of each other, and sometimes understanding has, particularly for a new player, the veterans all get it, but for a new player, they're kind of going, what? Huh? So yeah. So this is where I am at the moment. So when I started, I can't remember where you start in this game. It might be Earth. I don't know. I don't remember. I probably should have just started a new character so I would know some of this. But when you start the game, you're going to start where you start, and that's it. So when I started, there was a little bit of this done. These are all the, like, you know, different planets. Oh, no, I didn't want to go there. Oh, dear. I didn't want to go there. I think I've already fought this guy. Solar Rail Junction, I don't know.
While you're seeking a return to the void, challenge me and find destruction.
I think I can just back out. Should we just go murder him? Why? Oh, I see. Oh, Rhino. Yeah. So this is Warframe, you know. And there you go. He's brutally murdered. So you have swords, guns. There's nunchucks. There's throwing knives. Haven't quite worked out how the throwing knives works. You have side pistols. There's just like lots of weapons. Why we're killing other warframes, I don't really know. Just like an honor system or something, just to make sure that, you know, I don't know. There are still lots of parts of this game that I don't really know about. Also, very beautiful looking game, I think. I think they've done a really good job of capturing, you know, the essence of you know, a space game. I think the lighting and detail is really good. So we'll just go back to the ship. I clicked on this by accident, to be honest. So yeah, so I've gone and finished the planets that at one time I was working on, because you know, I just kind of ran off and, you know, went to playing something else. Because that's the thing, I have so many games, and there's so many games coming out every day. If a game doesn't grab your attention straight away, it's a very narrow window when you grab a new player to really get across what it is that you're essentially trying to sell them. And if you don't manage to do that, they will leave. Why people leave, I don't know. The thing is, you can say, well, it's this or it's that, but everybody's different. So it can be difficult. So a little bit of Earth was done, not a lot. Bits of Venus was done, not a lot. That's what I meant to click. And bits of Mercury were done, again, not a lot. So I basically, looking at it, I could tell that I didn't know what I was doing. So I've gone back, I've completed Mercury. So you need to kind of complete these planets in order to kind of move on. I mean, that's not too difficult to understand, really, but again, if nobody necessarily tells you, you'll just kind of, you'll be over here and you'll be over there. And there were probably people that I played with that were like, oh, you know, come do this content, or, you know, do that content, and I would listen to them and I'd go, yep, okay. But they probably didn't have the overall picture. So, I don't know. So I could tell that, you know, I was just kind of, you know, like at a buffet when you're kind of like, you know, I'll have a bit of that and I don't want that. I'll have a bit of that, and, you know, you just kind of, a buffet. So I finished all of Venus as well. I finished all of Earth. So, you know, I'm starting to make some progress. Most of Mars is done. I just need to do Alator. It's an Inception thing, though, where you have to grab, like, points and then hold them, you know, during waves of enemies. Little bit difficult to do on your own, so, you know, have to try and wait until lots of people are online and playing. I don't actually know how many people play Warframe per day. I know that it's not a dying game by any means. However, it is stagnating a bit, or it has been, with new players not really like jumping into it. And like I said, at the time it was a bit, you know, it lacked some direction for a new player, but it's getting better. So I've done done most of Mars, and then I'm on to Demos. I'm doing Demos because Nightingale said to me that in order to do this, which so how to explain it? It's pirating, basically. So yeah, you get your own ship. You can, if you don't have a guild or you don't want to join a guild, you can get like NPCs that can man most of the battle stations. But I do think you need a couple of people to kind of help you out a bit. And you just go pirating. You just attack ships, and then you basically destroy the ship, and then you can just loot its resources. I think you have like boarding as well, like enemies can board your ship. I think you can board their ships, I think. I don't know massive amounts about it. Nightingale took me onto his ship. I got stuck in the gunner seat. Didn't know how to get out of the gunner seat. And had a little go at it. Looks fun. I mean, everybody likes pirates, right? And pirating. So yeah, the pirating in space. So I'm doing this in order to get my my ship. I don't think it's necessarily just about the ship, but about being able to play it with other people, maybe? I don't know. So I'm doing that anyway. It's a direction and it gives me some purpose. So I'm slowly going through this. Now, Cambion Drift is kind of like a big open world story. And I've been doing that. And the other day when I was doing it, it kind of clicked in my head like, oh, I had that, I hate to use this analogy, but it's true and everybody kind of knows that it's true. It's documented. Final Fantasy XIV Online. Great game. However, the base game, I'm not going to lie, it took me quite a few attempts before I got to Heaven's Ward. You know, it's a little bland. And I feel like, you know, don't come at me, but I feel like, you know, Warframe has a little bit of that. Like, in order to get to the good stuff, you kind of got to go through some of the not as good stuff. And I remember with, you know, Final Fantasy XIV Online, I got to Heaven's Ward and I was like, oh, wow, I understand now why people like this. And the cat girls. I'm just saying. Or cat boys. Or rabbit boys, rabbit girls. Like, you know, whatever your thing is. But I do remember seeing the cat girls. Or is it fox girls? But I remember seeing the dancers and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna like it here. And I did. It's a good experience. I need to go back to that as well. So yeah, and I kind of was doing Cambion Drift. I had that same kind of feeling, like, oh, I had that kind of Heaven's Ward moment, like, oh, I think I get why people like this. And this isn't even, as far as I know, it's not even scratching the surface of the stories to come. You know, like, this is just one, like, little story, like an isolated story, but I think there's to come, like, big overarching stories. And so I'm really excited with that, and I want to get to that. So I'm going to try and make a concerted effort to, you know, push myself forward, as I did, you know, as I did with Final Fantasy XIV. I was struggling, and it took, like, several attempts over a multitude of years. Also, buying expansions on that game. Oh, wow, it's so bad. It's so bad. The yeah, it's just bad. Now, Warframe is free to play. It's free to play, and the developers, from what I've known of them about over the years, and one of the things that people really like about the developers is obviously they want to make money. I mean, obviously you're a business. but they do it in a way that's mostly good for the player. They try to be fair. They're not they're kind of not nickel and diming you, and trying to be decent. Which, let's face it, in video games, particularly recently, that's not always something that you can say. So that's something that a lot of people like. So it's free to play. You can play a lot of the game without spending any money. I've always found with these type of games is that making a contribution here and there, if you like the game and the developer treats you well, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm saying is you don't have to. Same with Elder Scrolls Online. It has a pretty good business model. I feel like they both do. And it's fairly good value. So I'm trying to get my rail ship so I can go pirating. I don't actually know what that is. Again, I'm not trying to say that I know everything about this game. I really don't. I didn't in 2017. I kind of don't now. But it does have a bit... I kind of have a bit more of an idea of what to do in some aspects of the game. Mods... So mods are things that go on your weapons. This is all of the planets, by the way, that you can go to. Is there more than this? I thought there was more than this. Although that's quite a lot. Oh, there's our dojo. I thought there was more than this, but I don't know. Although that's quite a lot anyway, so yeah. But yeah, if we come out of here, so mods are something I still don't really understand. You have the codex as well to help you. This is really, it's quite useful for giving you some information on what you should be doing. So I'm doing Heart of Demos. So these are quests that do vary. Paradox. I think this is the one that I watched a couple of years ago. It had like horses and stuff and big open worlds, and it looked like a good time. There's hidden messages. I still don't know what. I don't really know what that's about. Something about a cryptic message or something. I don't know. There's a couple of locked ones as well. Probably got to get to a certain level to get to those. There's the universe. There's pets. There's pets. So if you like that sort of thing, these are your mods. So they go on your weapons. I'll show you. Here's my pupper. Aya. She's my bestest girl. So here are your mods. These are kind of all the mods that I've got. It still could be a little bit clearer on, how to use them. It's a little bit. It could be better. There is a deer. There is kind of a new player thing that do. So if we go to upgrade on my rifle, for instance, this is what I've got on my rifle. So these are your mods. Kind of work like a leveling system, but it's mods. Now to the veterans who are probably groaning and going, no, that's not what goes in that slot. That's not what goes in that slot. This is what I'm talking about. I don't understand. I don't know what should be in slots. Nightingale did send me a thing for... He's using the Cybaris as well. Not the Prime one, but they're essentially the same. I'm not entirely sure what the Prime thing is about. I don't know. But he did send me a thing, so I need to go through that. But these are your mods, essentially. You can... you can level them up. So at the moment, this one does 10% fire rate. Now, if you look at the bottom, you can see these little stars. Well, you can level those stars up, and then it will do. So you can see this one here. Go away. So rifle aptitude is now 60% because it's got three. It's got three little gold stars. If you see, like at the bottom here. So you can level these up, and I've got one there, shred. So it's giving me 10% and 0.4 punch through. So these are your mods, and yeah, you have these little like things here. You know, like these little. Only certain mods go in them or something, and also, so you rank your weapons. I'm probably doing a terrible explanation of this. This is why, if you're interested in Warframe, maybe go and watch some people who know more about it. Whilst I do have mods, and I have played it before, and I've got like weapons and junk and stuff in my inventory and Warframes, I would still consider myself a new player. I don't really know what I'm doing exactly, so this is more of a new player's experience, even though I've kind of played before and got some junk. So maybe go and find some videos on people who have played the game like a lot longer and know more about what these things do. I'm probably going to watch them as well, so I will be watching them alongside you if it's something that you're into. So these are your mods, and that's probably not what you should put in them. It is kind of at the time as well, when you're a new player, you earn one, you stick it in something. That's kind of how you do things as a new player. Now, if we go to actions, you have a thing here called auto install, and so it will just put in the best mods that it thinks will be good for you. I think this is okay to begin with, but from videos that I have watched, it starts to go downhill. It has diminishing returns of you use it, and then after a while it starts not to do a lot. And this mod capacity is doubled, so your weapons will, from rank 1, only have so many slots, and then as you upgrade your weapon, you get more slots, and then you can use these to double that, and you use these keys and stuff, and there's polarities, and it's quite complicated, and I don't fully understand it myself. I'm not going to pretend I do. But that's mods, so that's how you kind of level up. Everything goes to level 30, weapons and warframes, I think. So my warframe is 30 as well. Warframe, by the way, is just this. I think there's people in it, or there isn't people in it. Don't really know. I don't know a lot of the lore. But this is just look at it as armor. Just kind of look at it as armor that you can put on, and you can change. This is one of the ones. Well, I don't know about now. But this was one of the starter warframes that I got when I started the game, and I just kind of ran with it. I just kind of it worked okay, and I was like, that'll do, and I've just kind of played with it. There are not that one. So I've got some other ones that I can jump to Frost Prime, and Oberon. Wasn't Oberon in Titania? Yeah, the fairy tale thing. No, doesn't matter. So yeah, you can change to different characters, and they do, that they do different things. So Frost Prime, hence the name, does frost things, and Mirage does doppelgangers and lasers and stuff. They do different things, alright? It's just different things. And yes, my theme, because I thought at the time when I was playing the game that red and black was cool. I still think red and black is cool, but I've only got basic colours, so the red looks a bit funky. So, yeah. And Oberon. That actually kind of, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of looks like a crime. It kind of looks like a war crime. It doesn't look very good. I'll be honest. That kind of looks terrible. I probably shouldn't have done that. So yeah, you've got your warframe, you've got your main weapon, you've got a handgun. You can swap all these out. So yeah, I've got some weapons and stuff like handguns, and you got bows as well. You got bows, you got rifles. This Gorgon was a new weapon that I got. It's not great, to be honest. It doesn't feel great to fire. Like, I often feel with weapons, like, it doesn't matter if the weapon that you're using isn't particularly great as in damage. I mean, that is a problem as well, but it's often feeling. It's how something feels. Gorgon really just didn't feel great, but it was a new weapon, and I was like, well, I was worried that all of this stuff is quite old and, isn't particularly relevant anymore, because my account's kind of old. It's, this stuff's been sitting here. Also, Nightingale was saying that some of my stuff, being quite old, it's not in the game anymore. They take stuff out, particularly like the warframes, and they pop them away. So I think he was saying that Oberon Prime and Frost Prime, I think, are not in the game anymore. They've kind of been put into storage. Maybe they'll come out again at some other point. But hopefully I've got some stuff here that and some blueprints and stuff that people who like collecting, because collecting is a big thing in this game. If you like collecting stuff, you'll love this game. Although there is a problem with that, and I'll come to that. And that is that you only have so many slots for warframes and weapons. It's not a lot. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots. I may have bought a slot, because I think you get, I don't know if it's 3 with your character or 3 overall, but you don't get a lot. And it's the same. It's the same with weapons as well. Things like blueprints and crafting stuff. I think that's limitless. It's just mostly warframes. In fact, I do remember now Nightingale saying that it's warframes and guns are the ones that take up the most space, and there isn't anything like a bank, which I feel like that could be a good thing. Just have like a bank, like they do in WoW, like they do in ESO or ESO, where you just store stuff that you're not particularly using. That would be really cool, because it is a game where you do collect a lot of stuff, so your inventory starts getting full, pretty fast. And as a new player, you want to try out different weapons. So not having a lot of spaces in your inventory for weapons and warframes, I feel like it's And I think they are looking into it, the developers, because I think even they should like understand that, you know, that's kind of a lot of what Warframe is collecting Warframes, trying them out, playing with them, seeing how they feel, how you like them, because what one person enjoys playing, another person may not. Rhino is quite popular. I think he's kind of like a more of a tanky kind of character. I think Excalibur is kind of. I don't actually know if he was always called Excalibur. Maybe he was, but I don't remember that being his name. But it doesn't really matter. He's more of a kind of agile kind of player. Um, so yeah, so that is it is a problem if you're collecting frames. At some point, you're going to need more slots. How you get slots is you can trade with other players, but if you're a new player, you don't really have anything that they want. But you can trade with other players to get the currency, which is it's called platinum. But you can trade it with other players if you've got things that they want. Hopefully, there's a load of junk in my inventory that, and blueprints and stuff that people might, if they're collectors, want, and so I might be able to make some platinum myself. But again, as a new player, you're not really going to have that, which is so then the other way you're going to need to do it is to put your hand in your pocket. And as a new player, when you're only just into the game, are you going to want to do that before you know if you actually like it or not? Yeah, I think that experience definitely could be better. So yeah, you've got your frames, you've got a main weapon, you've got like a side pistol, you swap them out, you've got knives. I don't even. Oh, I haven't got that one anyway. I don't actually have a lot of side weapons, it looks like. So some daggers and some pistols. Oh, twin pistols. Ooh. I wonder what they're like. And you can max them out to level 30. And then with the mods, you can put in the Orokin things and double them, and yeah, you do all kinds of crazy things. There's lots of variety, I would say. There's lots of good variety, and your build might not necessarily be the same as another person's build. Also, I wonder with how old the game is now, Warframe. I'm I'm betting that on YouTube there's probably, the same people who make the builds for ESO, all the different builds. I'm wondering if there are guides for builds on this game. I bet there is. So that's probably something that we could look into. So yeah, so daggers, guns. Then you have a sword. You have a main sword. Yeah, the nunchucks were such a lot of fun. I enjoyed the nunchucks quite a lot. There's also a bow staff, kind of. Sword and shield. Another sword and shield. Why does that look so horrendous? Did I colour? Oh dear. Yep, I coloured it, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Well. Oh, and I coloured that one. Okie dokie. Well, I thought it was cool at the time, guys. I think it's more just the red. I could probably do with a better red, but I only have the basic colours because I probably didn't want to pay for them. I probably didn't have the money to buy colours. I think as well, though, if you go to different planets, do different missions, I think new colours do drop. I think, again, you might need some more knowledgeable Warframe players to kind of, explain whether that is a thing or not. Oh, I've got dual daggers. That could be fun. Ooh, I've got to play with those. I need to level all this stuff up as well. I mean, I could have a good time just leveling weapons up. That's something that I could do. That's fun. What is that? A multi-bladed whip that is adept at flaying skin from bone. That sounds awful. In extreme cases, disobedient Grenier are sentenced to death by Adarax. Okay, and the Grenier is one of the enemies that you'll fight quite a lot. Funny looking people they are. I don't know what they look like outside of their spacesuits. I think they're spacesuits, but they're funny looking fellas they are. Yep. So daggers and stuff. Yeah, there's all sorts of, like, a heat sword. I used that the other day on a planet. So on some missions you have a thing here, so you have puncture / impact. So depending on what planet you're on and what mission you're doing, certain weapons will be better. You may want weapons that do poison damage, lightning damage, that sort of thing. So, which again is another reason for trying to, find, like, different types of weapons that do different, attacks. Attacks? That's not really the word I want. But it's very much a game where you need different types of weapons for different types of situations. So yeah, you kind of need more slots, and having to, oh dear, big two-handed sword. So again, having to just buy them, it's going to be very expensive. But it is a free-to-play game, so there is that. Dark sword, that looks kind of cool. I don't remember what it does. Oh, it does radiation. Yeah, so this one does radiation damage. I could have done with that. I think the other day I was doing a mission and I didn't really understand this. So I went and I had a pretty bad time of it. I got there in the end, but, like, it would have been much easier if I had known that I had this sword with some radiation damage. That would have been pretty fun. So pay attention to what you're picking up and, like, what it does is what I would say. So this sword should have some kind of fire damage? Okay. But yeah, the nunchucks were so much fun. And they do electricity damage, so again, if you need electricity damage, yep, they're the ones. They're the ones for you. If that's what the mission, entails. And there's all this other stuff. You can buy them with platinum, but most of these weapons, if not all of them, are out in the world and are drops off of enemies. So you just need to go out and find them. But look how much there is. Look how many weapons there are, It's just so many weapons. I don't even know what that is. Oh, so, like, punching or something. Some of the weapons are just crazy. And here it shows you, like, this is all green across the board. So I'm guessing I probably want this. But again, depending on the planet and the mission that you're going on, although this is all green and it looks good, it might not be, because it doesn't do the right type of damage. So this does puncture, impact, and slash, where maybe you need lightning damage to really make an impact. You're still going to be able to play, but you're going to have a harder time of it, as I found out. Yeah. So, yep, so you've got your sword, you've got your exalted blade. that has stuff on it. These are in the red, so I'm guessing that's a bad thing. That's probably going to be a bad time. Oh, that one's like leveled up. So, stand, summon a sword of pure light and immense power. I've done that by mistake, but I've done that. Pretty fun. It kind of an AoE attack. Just slams into the ground and like just knocks everybody down and or kills them depending on their health. And I've got all of these other ones. Some are obviously better than others. I don't know which ones are good. I don't know which ones are bad. Really, I don't know. You can also, if you have duplicates of these, you can sell them. If they're good ones, you can make some platinum on them. So there is ways of like making platinum. But again, as a new player, it's not gonna be necessarily a path that is open to you, unfortunately. And then you've got like this. It's like a little throwing dagger, I think. I don't know how this works. I'll be honest with you. It's not even particularly. It's not even. Oh, it is leveled up. Oh, okay. I don't know how that works. I don't know how to use it, or whether it's just like if you like if you're doing just like normal melee, maybe that's how it works. I don't know, guys. I don't. This isn't a guide on how to best play Warframe, or even really get started. I'm just explaining what's in the game, so hopefully it captures your imagination and maybe you're like, oh, I kind of want to go and like have a look at this. But it is a bit overwhelming, so maybe try and find yourself. The community is pretty good, and they will, hopefully, 99% of the time, 90% of the time, you meet people that are pretty cool and, will help you out. Because, again, it's in their best interests to help you, because otherwise you're not getting new players, and that's not good. This is your Void Relics. I found that I had a load. I didn't know that they were here. They've been sat there for years. And I even forgot what they were or why they were. So yeah, I've got a load of them. I can't open them because I don't have a lot of... I think a lot of them are blueprints, so I might be okay. But I'm just kind of leaving them for now because I don't... Yeah. It's different things. So this has a Cybara's Prime blueprint. So hopefully for people who want to collect that, because it's not in the game anymore, like, that would be something that, I could sell for some, hopefully for some platinum. And you have this, the Void Traces, used to increase the power within relics. I don't know what that means. I think it just means to open it, I think. I don't know, something like that. This is your forge, where you make your weapons and stuff. So this is where your blueprints will show up, and you can make your weapons. This is another problem. I told you that I joined a guild, Asuna Waifu, and our leader, Nightingale, and you need to make a key so that you can visit the dojo. I might show you the dojo in a minute. I'm sure it's not a problem. It took 12 hours to make the key, which again, I thought that was kind of stupid. I just want to go and visit my dojo and visit my guild friends. Why have I got to wait 12 hours just to make the key? And to make that Gorgon weapon was 12 hours. And I think for a warframe, it's something like two days, maybe 3 days. I'm not sure. I haven't made a warframe. Like, come on, guys. That's so you've, as a new player, you've gone out scrounging, looking for blueprints to make yourself, I don't know, Gara, and you found yourself all the bits, and then you go to make it, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have some great fun with this. 3 days. Like, really? As a new player, like, you haven't got much choice as it is. You've got your one, you've got your one warframe that you got given when you started playing, and maybe you don't like the way it feels, or you just want to try other things. You want to explore the game. Wait 3 days. It's just not a good time. But you have all of this stuff. So the crafting is very in depth, and like, for people who like that, they're gonna love that. I really want to make this Q-brow collar. But I don't know where to find the prime buckle. I'm gonna need to like look it up or something. Nightingale was saying I don't need it. I don't, but I want it because I want it. There's also, as well as like just biological doggos, there's robot ones as well. So that's something I didn't know was in the game. And of course, some of these things have been added like over the years. Neza, so Neza or Neza, possibly Neza sounds kind of right. So I've got all these bits. Oh, I've got enough to make the Neza system. It says 12 hours. Okay. I can't make the warframe though, because I haven't got any slots. So I would have to sell stuff or spend money in order to get some slots in order to make a Neza. And I don't think that's all of it. I think that's just the body. Then I think you need the head. I don't remember how this works. The Nova chassis, Oberon. I've got all of that for Nix. Oh, I think I've already made Nixie. Again, would it be Nixie? That's how I kind of read it, but I don't know. Paris Prime, Rhino. Yeah, so I think Rhino is kind of more the tanky, like a tanky kind of dude. So if you like that type of play, you'd probably love that. Valkyrie Prime. Do I have any of that? I have some cells. Just need the neuro optics. But then, if these have been taken out of production, been taken offline, I'm guessing you can't get the parts anymore? Or if you have the blueprint, can you still find the parts? I don't know about any of that either. The Vault. Wukong. I was laughing about this the other day because there's the new video game Wukong, which people are massively enjoying, and so there being a Wukong warframe, I found quite kind of funny. I don't know whether it came out recently. I'm not. Maybe it came out recently to coincide with Wukong. I don't know, or whether it's been in the game for a long time. No idea. Oh, you have like a flying thing as well. So you can fly around in space on this and just attack things. When it first came out, it was not fun. It was quite janky, but it first come out. I played it the other day and I was like, oh, how's this gonna be? Works really well, flies really well. I was pretty impressed, and I had a pretty good time. I remember the first time using it. I do remember it wasn't as much of a good time, and then after that, anything that was one of those kind of missions, I was like, I don't want to do it. I still feel that way about the sabotage, not the sabotage ones, the rescue ones. Um, Even though you're a space ninja, I don't feel like stealth is amazing. But Nightingale was saying, obviously, with all the different warframes, and this is why you want to collect different warframes, there are ones that have invisibility, who can just ones that can move really fast. So those ones would be better in that type of scenario, whereas Excalibur, not really. So you're gonna have a harder time. So you can make it easier on yourself. However, you can't if you have to pour a lot of money in, which not quite so fun. Yeah, Archwing boar. I'm thinking of making that, but I don't know how good it would be. Again, I don't know that I can make it because I did free up some slots of. I had some. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing because I had weapons that, like the same weapon that I'd made like twice. Which why would you if you already have that weapon? So clearly I didn't know what I was doing. So I got rid of those. You can break stuff down for credits. Credits is kind of the in-game currency which you use, to make things. So in order to craft this boar, you need all of the materials, and it would cost you 15,000 credits, and take 12 hours, which, yeah, cool. But the key was really so stupid. Like 12 hours for a key. Like, are you kidding me? I also need to work out how to make this as well. I've seen these things in games, but I don't know how to pick them up. I've tried, like pressing like E and F on them. I can't seem to collect them, so I need to work out how to do that. But I've got all this crap. Oh, Kraken. Do I have that weapon? No. No, what was the other one? Gorgon. What? Why this ugly colour? Oh, I know why it's an ugly colour. Because the, yeah, I know why it's an ugly colour. Marlock, I do want to make that, but again, don't have any space. But there's all of this stuff. The game has tons for you to do. Like any, good MMO RPG. There's fishing. The fish fly. And you have more of a sort of boomerang, spear, harpoon type thing going on. But it's technically fishing. It's fishing. You've got fishing. You've got pirating. You can fly around space, with those wings. There's lots to do and have a good time. And there is, I believe, a really good story, a really deep story where you get to know more about the Tennos. I think that's what the Warframes are. They're part of something called Tenno. Don't really know much about that. So there's lots and lots to do. It's a fun game, and you can play most of it all for free. You can, you can make a contribution when you want to, which I think you should. Yeah, it's such a good game. It's just held back a little bit by it being a bit complicated. But it is, I do feel it's getting better. So if you played it like me, like a long time ago, and you couldn't really get into it, come back and try it again in 2024. It seems much better. Also, this is unlockable. Unlockable parts of your ship. I haven't worked out how to do that. I need to do that. Can unlock that. I feel like that has some sort of story connected to it. I can't remember. Also, the community doesn't like to tell you too much because of spoilers, which and the same actually there is a parallel here. The Final Fantasy community don't like to give things away. They want you to experience it, and I respect that. I think that is wonderful, because if you spoil the story for somebody, it's like, it's not going to be as enjoyable. So yeah, you can open this. This is some kind of corruption. This is one of the factions that you can fight. What are they called? Can't remember. Infestation. You can fight them. They're really fun, actually. You can just chop them up. They don't really. They're all melee. They don't really fire stuff at you, so they can be quite useful depending on the situation. Yeah. So yeah, you can open this part of the ship up. You can open that part of the ship up. You can open up that part of the ship. I went on to Nightingale, who has been in the game since the start. And he's got this all unlocked, and he's got like little collectibles stuff, and yeah, it's kind of cool. He likes to collect things, and I like to collect things as well. So there's so much to do, and you can take your doggo with you. You take your doggo with you. She will, he or she will fight for you. It's a good time. And there's lots of planets to explore. There's lots of warframes to collect, and weapons, and story. It's a good game, guys. Like, just if you gave it a go, like me, come back and give it another go, and maybe try and push through a little bit and see where you can get to. Demos is already. I'm already enjoying that. I went to another planet where I got like a little hoverboard thing. It's so cool. I was running backwards and forwards in that game, and I was thinking to myself, oh man, are there no vehicles in this game? Like, I could do with a vehicle. And I got like this little hoverboard. It's very cool. I like it very much. Trying to slot it into my inventory again got a bit frustrating. Sometimes it's the little things in this game as much as the big things that you don't know. Like, you can have a general direction, and you can kind of know which direction you're going. But then if you don't know about how the mods work in your weapons, even though you're kind of going in the right direction, you can have a bit of a bad time. Because the game's now much harder than it needs to be. If you just had the right mods, or you had the right weapon, because like, oh, this one suggested damage is slash and fire. So if you have those, you're gonna have a better time. But you didn't know that, because maybe the game didn't tell you, or you just didn't spot it and kind of put the two things together, which is how I kind of understood it. So you turn up with, I don't know, all electricity-based weapons. I mean, slash is one of those most weapons, particularly like a sword, like your main sword is gonna have slash on it anyway, I guess. But like, you could take the fire sword. You could take that with you, so that then gives you slash and fire, and you're gonna have a fun time. But if you turn up with a sword that, yes, it has slash, but it has electricity, well, the electricity is not going to do as much damage as fast, maybe. This game is very fast-paced, by the way. One of the other problems I have is, so movement is very fluid. But if you're not used to it, it's quite hard going. And I am quite slow, and I like to loot everything along the way. And so up here, you've got public, friends only, invite only, or solo. So you can play the game by yourself. However, so yeah, let me try and sort of explain it as I understand it. Not going to do the best job. But you know, there are lots of wonderful creators on YouTube that will have just even better Warframe videos. I've already watched a few. So let's go with so that there's capture missions. There are defense. You know, defense missions. I don't know what you're saying. There are assassination ones. I do really enjoy the assassination ones, but depending on what their level is. So this one's the Grenier, 14 to 16. Well, I'm only level 6. I think that's my overall rank. I think so. You know, depending on what that level is, you know, 8 to 13 probably be okay with that one. 9 to 14. So some of these you're going to be okay. Sometimes the only way I've found out whether I can do something is just by giving it a go, and then, you know, if you get your ass handed to you, then you've got to be like, oh, okay, you know, I may need to go onto public so I can get some help with this, and there's nothing wrong with that. So what I'm saying is certain games like excavation, maybe, where's this one? Sabotage, spy, the defense one. So the defense one, again, it means like holding different locations. I think the spy one is similar as well. That can be quite hard to do like on your own. You know, you got to kind of like run around and like you hold that spot and then you run off to hold this spot. But the enemy have then like recaptured. That's like, it can be a little bit difficult. So some things are going to be easier, like if you pop it on public. But if you do find that there's a mission that you can do reasonably by yourself, you know, you can do it fine, and you're getting left behind in the dungeon, you can just pop it onto solo, and do it by yourself. Because also there's this thing, which I do remember this. I remember this vividly, that I was getting left behind a lot in the dungeons because I was always kind of slow. I think Excalibur is one of the slower warframes. Like there's much faster warframes. So if everybody's using the faster warframes and you've got like a slower one, and you're kind of slow as well, and you don't really know how the movement system works, it can be a bit of a bad time. And I was being left behind a lot, and then when they get to the end, they're waiting for you, and then they just kind of have to stand there. They can't leave, until you get there. But now I think that they've changed it. They still make them wait a little bit for a while, maybe too long. And then if you don't get there in time, it's just mission over. So that's, you know, it's better, but like you do have this kind of, oh shit, they're waiting for me, but there's all this stuff to like just loot, because I will loot anything. I have to. It's almost a sickness. It's really bad. Like I cannot run past things without just like, oh, is there anything good in here? And that's the thing. Pretty much like Elder Scrolls Online, a lot of people will be like, well, the best stuff comes from the end boss. Not always. That's a bit of a fallacy. Sometimes something rare can drop from, you know, there's something in a basket and you just root through the basket and you find something actually like pretty cool. Does it happen all the time? No. But it can happen. I know this to be true. Warframe, I don't know, but I know definitely in Elder Scrolls, which I've played a lot, actually running out of stuff to do. I've done all of Gold Road already. So really need another expansion now. Or chapter. But yeah, it's you can just by looting stuff find interesting stuff, sometimes rare stuff. It isn't always the end bosses that drop the best stuff. A lot of the time it is, for sure, but not always. The developers, I feel like they like to, you know, how much are you paying attention? Maybe they actually do it for the loot goblins like me and some of you, right? Yeah, don't make this all like it's just me. Like there's some of you out there, like you know who you are. You know, you're loot gobbling the shit out of things. Like, you know, you did the house in Skyrim and just put all the cheese in it. I know you did. It wasn't just me. So yeah. So depending on different missions, you know, you might want to do public, but if it's a mission that you're comfortable, you can do on your own, you can put it on solo, and then you don't have that. You can just go at your own pace, which I do particularly like sometimes. You know, you can go at your own pace, and, you know, just do it as you want to, and you don't have that trepidation of people are waiting for you at the end. Like, they probably don't care, but yeah, it's still like, oh, there's people waiting for me, especially if you're new to the game and you don't know how etiquette works in the game. You don't know if those people are like waiting to move on to the next thing, or if they've come to realize it's a thing in the game and they're just like, I'll just go off and make, you know, a cup of tea or something whilst this person, because some of them will know, particularly if you're new. They're looting. They're looting shit, or, you know, they don't want to leave anything alive, or yeah. They'll, particularly the veterans, they'll know. Like, new player, yeah, they're looting everything. Like, you know, they know. But yeah, so you have the option of playing with others, which I do highly recommend, because sometimes you can have a great time. And I did have a great time. That was one of the things I cannot impress on you enough. It's a pretty good community for the most part. Yes, you're going to come across some asshats. That's just life, I'm afraid. But for the most part, pretty good people, and I've had some great times defending like the coffin thing. So there's this, I think it's a coffin, maybe it has like a body in it or something. I don't know. There's a coffin, and you have to protect it from waves of enemies, and for each round that you go through, you get those relic things that have things in them that you can then build and, you know, add to your collection. So it's pretty cool, and there are multiple rounds. I think the most I've ever done is about, before everybody started quitting, was about 7, 5, 6 maybe. But before everybody was like, yeah, this is getting a bit much now. We're just bailing. The other thing I did find though is sometimes you're on a public thing, and it goes to the vote of, okay, are we staying for another round? And people seem to be like, yeah, we'll go another round. And then it goes to the head, and then they all pull out. And then you end up in that dungeon by yourself, and you're like, oh crap. That does happen sometimes. The first couple of times I was like, what the hell, guys? Like, I can't do this by myself. But since then I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I will wait till the last minute to, you know, to see if anybody is going to stick around, or they've just had enough, because it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that's everything. As much as I can tell you, you do need other long time warframe players to help you with some of the other stuff. And trust me, if you're watching it, I'm probably watching it too, because I don't know nearly enough. There have been lots of updates over the years, lots of new things that they've thrown in. And that's the other thing, the developers constantly updating it and putting in new content, new stories, new warframes, new weapons. It's ridiculous. It's got that kind of looter shooter side to it, just weapons and armor. I'm just going to call the warframes armor, basically. I don't actually know what they are. I don't know if it's a person under there, or I don't know what that side of the story is. I think it is a story, and I think it's quite a deep story. Oh, and the cutscenes. Oh, the cutscenes are good. The cutscenes are really, really, really good. Like, trust me, I definitely think if you like the idea of ninjas in space, this could be something for you in 2024. It's getting better. I think the developers are looking to, make the onboarding process for new players better, which is going to be good for everybody. So, yeah, if you like the idea of, space, maybe you played, what was Bethesda's new game? Star something. Starborn? Well, you know the game I'm talking about from Bethesda. I'm probably going to make a video about it. I played it. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great. It was just, it's okay. I would still rather go back and play Skyrim for the millionth time, or Oblivion. Actually, I've never finished Oblivion. I really do. What I'm hoping for is when Sky Oblivion comes out. Looks amazing. I've seen some of the trailers. When that comes out, I think I then want to sit down and just play the entire game. I think that would be really, really fun. But yeah, like, or even Fallout 4. A lot of people didn't like Fallout 4. I like it. I think it's good. But I also understand that I haven't played a lot of Fallout 3. I got to a bit where these people had like flame guns and they were just flaming me to death, and I got aggravated and just like DC'd. But I understand that, those games, Fallout New Vegas, which again I just haven't finished. I haven't finished as many games as I would like to, just because my brain is always constantly... No, not my brain. Steam. You know what you do. All these games, and then you put them on sale, and again, Loot Goblin, that I want to grab those games. I have games in my Steam library. I don't even know why I bought them. Probably because they were on sale. It's insane. Some of them, I probably don't even like them. Or I may not like them, because I wouldn't know, because I haven't played them. Because I don't have time. So... Steam, it's your fault. Stop it. No, don't stop it. But no, I need to take control of my own base impulses, and just stop buying so many until I've played at least some of them. So anyway, all joking aside, that's the end of the video. This is Warframe. I really think it's good. Come play it. It's good. and it's free to play, and it's monetized fairly, which is not something you can say for a lot of AAA games in this day and age. All right? Okay. So that's the end of that. I will see you on the next video. I was looking through my Steam library. I found a game I loved, and I completed it. The first one. The second one, not so much. Nearly, but then my computer went wrong and I had to reinstall Windows, and let's not talk about it. The first one, I finished this game, and it's a really good game. So I'm going to do a video on that. You probably don't care, but I want to do it anyway. Even if one person watches, don't really care. I don't care about the numbers. But I do care about showing people who like video games, like I do, cool games. So, see you on the next video. Bye for now.